On our interview segment this week, we talked to Moyo Onigbanjo, a legal practitioner with over 25 years' experience. He was conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria in 2013. The president has finally constituted his cabinet and portfolios have been assigned. But what's your general view of the composition of the cabinet?
I think it's a good mix of politicians and of technocrats. And I mean, it inspires confidence that things will pick up, and there are certain people you look up to in that cabinet who look like that they are stars in the firmament, and that they will generally be the drivers of the cabinet, and as such, you know, I think our future is pregnant with expectation.
Let's narrow it down to the Ministry of Justice, considering the fact that there were like 8 lawyers on that list. What do you make of the appointment of Abubakar Malami SAN? Do you think that's a round peg in a round hole? Definitely
it is, because he's a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, which of course, I mean, indicates that he's a senior member of the bar, and also, you know, is more than qualified to be appointed into the office. And I'm also sure he will bring his weight of experience to bear on the position, and that because whilst for the period that there was no Attorney General, we could see that there were so many issues that needed attention. And now that one is in office, all those issues, I'm sure, will be sorted out speedily.
What areas do you think, though, that it should be focusing on if, you know, you were to hit the ground running?
I think the things that it should focus on is the reform of the judiciary. There should be a change in the perception of the judiciary by the public. There are certain reforms that need to be put in place, because justice delivery right now is, there's no doubt, it's slow, and we need to, in that regard, institutionalize reforms that will make the process speedier and add value to people who have to utilize it. Because if you look at it, there was a time we were what's the word to use, exporting justice delivery. We had to be relying on the English courts to deal with local issues which our judiciary failed to deal with. A good example is the Ibori matter, and now also the former Minister of Petroleum. The issues also have been taken to the UK jurisdiction. We should be taking the lead, because it's basically our problem. And you are going to find now that a lot of money is going to be expended by both the federal government and by the former minister engaging foreign counsel in these matters. And it's going to cost a tidy sum. I mean, you would always like to be on top of your own issues. It doesn't speak well of our judiciary if people are believed to have run foul of the law, and our justice dispensation or justice delivery system cannot, you know, tackle the matter or the issue involved.
You talked about perception of justice. What do you think that we can do to change the perception of justice in the country? Because there's this perception that it's on sale to the highest bidder.
Well, you know, like I said recently, a lot of that perception is just based on wild allegations. You know, it's based on rumors, innuendos, because you ask most people that accuse the judiciary of all these things to substantiate it, they cannot. There is nothing the NJC can do if you say a judge is corrupt and you don't give them the evidence to discipline or to handle that matter. But in terms of the perception, you know, we really need to I mean, it's when we add value more than we're doing now, the perception will be reversed. If we take two examples in the political scene, the perception of Nigeria between the Jonathan administration and the Buhari administration, in the eyes of most Nigerians now, is better. So perhaps we also need to get that kind of momentum so that the judiciary is seen in better light. If you say corruption, the Attorney General plays a leading role in terms of prosecution. He also controls the EFCC. And there's so many things, and also it can drive legislative reform of the judiciary. Because if there's no doubt that if we're going to reform the judiciary, if we are going to enhance justice delivery, we need to amend some of the existing legislations. And so this sort of legislation is usually tabled to the National Assembly. The Evidence Act has been pending for a long time. We just had the Criminal Administration of Justice Act, we just had that passed. There's also so many justice sector bills which are pending. Like I'm aware that the Legal Practitioners Act is also pending. So there's so many justice sector bills, prison reforms, name it.
Let's round off with issues of the Nigerian bar, because I know that you're one of the leaders of the bar and you're very active in issues of the Nigerian bar. This stamp and seal policy of the Nigerian bar appears to be generating some kind of controversy. Despite the fact that there's a Supreme Court judgment endorsing it, some lawyers think that the NBA is unwittingly arrogating to itself the power of a regulatory body, that perhaps the General Counsel of the bar should be responsible for this stamp and seal while the NBA serves as a collection agency. What do you think?
My response to those to people who share that thought is that, well, they must be aware that legal practice is a profession governed by rules and regulation. The right of the NBA to issue the stamp and seal is not whimsical or is not at the discretion of the NBA president or his executive. It derives from the Rules of Professional Practice 2007, I believe section 10 thereof, which gives the NBA the right to issue a stamp and seal to all lawyers. It goes further to say any lawyer who fails to affix a stamp or a seal to legal documents, that document will be treated as if it is invalid, i.e. not signed by a lawyer. So, and once there's a rule or there's a law in place, then you cannot just argue that the NBA has no such powers, because clearly these are powers derived from law. So I do not really agree.
What about this argument that perhaps the NBA is making some money from it? I mean, why should it be a yearly thing? Why not a one-off payment? The
need to validate it arises because of the same need that we have to pay practice fees every year. Because, you know, why don't we pay practice fees once when we are called to the bar and forget about it? But because practice fees represents is for a different scheme. Now, if we pay yearly, it enables you to, if a lawyer is under sanction or has been disciplined, suspended, disbarred, then definitely that kind of person, that kind of lawyer, or well, that kind of disbarred lawyer or suspended lawyer will not be issued with a stamp and seal, so that it does not go about deceiving members of the public that is still a member of the profession. I think it will come to, I'm sure the goal of the NBA is that the day will come when every lawyer in Nigeria will sign a document, and without their stamp and seal being affixed to it, nobody is going to give any credence to such a document. And that will be very good, because it means we have checks and balances in place, so that every lawyer who signs a document and you see his stamp and seal, if he acts in any manner contrary to the rules of professional ethics, then you can take him up.
That's our interview and the program for this week, but let's continue the conversation online. Remember that you can find these and past episodes of the program on our YouTube channel. I am Shola Shoyeli. Thank you for watching.